Hey, this is Joe from SoFly, and in this video, we are going to export WooCommerce orders to email using WP All Export. So to get started, we'll go down here to All Export and select New Export. And then from the pull down, we'll select WooCommerce Orders. Now over here, you see we have 5,758 orders that'll be exported. And if we want to, we can filter them so only a subset of the orders are exported. For example, orders from California, orders with a certain product in it, etc. In this case, we're not going to add any filters. If you're interested in filters, we have a lot of documentation on our website, and we have videos about this. We're just going to export all of our orders. So we'll go down here to Customize Export File. And then over here on the right, we have all of our available data to export. So you see here we have our order date. We can drag that over. And then this is our export file. This is what's actually going to be exported. So we can drag and drop to rearrange things. We can click inside, change the column name like that. And if we wanted to, we can go over here and add more fields by searching. So for example, let's say we want our customer name. So we'll put our billing first name in like that. Then we have our customer information available for drag and drop over here. So we can drag in our last name like that. So there's two ways you can add fields. And we'll preview, see what we have so far. And there we go. Looks pretty good. So let's clean this up a little bit. I don't need the order key. Don't need the order title. We'll leave our first name and last name in there. And let's look at the other data we have to export. So we have all of our order data over here, just the standard stuff. All of our customer data in here, everything related to the customer. All of the order item information, what was actually purchased. Over here, tax and shipping information for the order, fees and discounts, notes, refunds, custom fields, everything related to the order, the person who made the order, and the products that are included in that order are available to be exported. So we have a lot of features over here. We can pass data through PHP functions. We can create custom export fields where we drag in multiple fields into one single field. So for example, we can combine first name and last name into one field, etc. If you're interested in these more advanced functions that WPL Export has, again, check out our documentation and our YouTube channel. We have a lot more videos that go into more depth on this. So we're just going to make a very basic order export over here, and we'll check out the export types that we have available. So this is where we set up the actual file that we're going to create. So for example, we have our spreadsheets. We can export to CSV or Excel files, or if we wanted to, XML feeds. If you're interested in XML feeds, again, check out our YouTube channel, check out our documentation. We have a lot of videos on that. You can go pretty in depth into this. In our case, we're just going to stick to a simple CSV export and continue. Okay, so over here we have our scheduling options, pretty useful stuff. Pretty briefly, so automatic scheduling, this is a service created by us. It costs $9 a month. And, for example, pretty easily I can say, every Monday, midnight, set this up, and then the export's going to run every Monday at midnight. You can also set this up with manual scheduling using cron jobs. You can check out the documentation here. Cron jobs, manual scheduling, this is included in WPL Export Pro. Automatic scheduling, again, it's an extra charge of $9 per month for that service. Either one of these are pretty easy to use, and they're going to let you run your export on a schedule. Pretty useful if we want this to be emailed, right? So for example, the way this is set up right now, this order export is going to be emailed to me every Monday. Now, if I want to, I can select this over here, export orders only once. So now every Monday at midnight, I get an email with a spreadsheet that has all of my orders that were created in the last week, right? Because once those orders get exported, they're not going to be included in the next one. So this is pretty useful feature and pretty powerful. So for this demonstration, I'm going to leave this unchecked for now. Okay. And we're going to do not schedule. So we're going to leave these blanks. We'll come back later and we'll set these up. Now, the rest of these features are pretty interesting. They're pretty powerful. They're pretty self-explanatory. We have a lot of documentation on them and some videos. So if you want to learn more about those, feel free. All right. So our export is set up. We're going to confirm and run the export. And this is going to take a few minutes. We have a lot of orders to export. So we'll let it run and we'll come back when it's finished. Okay, so that didn't take too long. So now what we need to do is we need to go over here to Zapier. So this is how we're going to create the tools so that every time this export is run over here, every time this export is run, it's going to send an email. So we're going to go here to Zapier and we're going to click Create Zap. All right, so down here for our trigger, we're going to select WP All Export. There it is. And here we set it up. So the event is going to be new export file. There's another event here, real-time export completed. So the way real-time exports work, for example, if I was doing it with this export, I would set up a real-time export for WooCommerce Orders. And then every time a new order is created, only that one order is going to be exported. Right? So if we do that, if we select a real-time export over here, the cool thing is that we can access the data inside that order, right? All of the data that we were dragging and dropping to create our export, all of that data is available here in Zapier. Now, in this case, we're going to select the export file. And what this is going to do is every time the export runs, it's only going to give us the export file and some super basic information about the export. It's not going to give us the actual orders, right? But we don't want that. We just want to email the actual export file. So we're going to select new export file over here. If you're interested in real-time exports, for example, if you want to get an email every time that a WooCommerce order is created, check out our YouTube channel, check out our documentation. What you actually want is to check out real-time exports, exporting WooCommerce orders one by one. We have a lot of documentation. We have a lot of videos on that. All right, so I'm going to select new export file over here, and I will continue. And I've already linked this to my site over here. So these are linked. The way you link it, very simple. You go down here to all export settings, and then we have our Zapier integration API key. On this page, you just add a new one, put the URL in, put the API key, done. Very simple to set up. And now we're going to test the trigger. And what that's going to do is it's going to pull the export that we just created. Let me close the settings page over here. Okay, so I've just created this export and it looks good. So that's it. Okay, so we're going to continue with the selected record. And now we have our action. Our action is going to be email. So we'll select that. And the event, we only have one, send outbound email. We'll continue. And here's our action. So I'm going to send this to my little testing email address here, wpaivideos@sofly.com. Don't email this, we won't reply. The subject, new orders. All right. And the body, this is the body of our email. So let's check out the information that we have. It's fairly limited, right? So we have the export name, the export file. This is the actual file itself. We have the URL to the file over here. When was the export run? Status code, how many records were exported, when the export was created, like the date, file name, right? So not the actual data inside the file. That's fine though. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, this week we had, I'm going to pull up number of records exported. There we go. We had file, and let's put our file URL over here. Where is it? There it is, export file URL. Now we're going to be a little bit redundant. We're also going to add the attachment over here. And that's going to be this one, export file exists but not shown, right? Because you can't really show a file. So there is our export file. So just to show you the two different ways that we can set this up. So we have our body over here with the URL. And then down here, let's get rid of this guy. We have our attachment. From name, we'll just put WP all export, etc. You can set up all this however you like. Looks good to me. We'll continue. Now we're going to test our step. So this is just going to basically test this over here. It's going to send an outbound email with that. Let's go over here to my email inbox and I'll refresh. There we go. From WPL export, subject, new orders. This week we had 5,758 orders. Obviously, if we're going to have to go in and do some work on this to get this working as we want. Here is the file URL. Click this, file downloads, and then here is the attachment. All right, so let's check this, make sure this works. Okay, so let's download our file, open that up. And there we go. There's the export file that we created with all of our orders. So now let's set this up so that every time this export runs, we're only going to get the new orders, and let's set it up to run on the schedule. So this Zap over here this is going to run every single time a new export file is created. So right now I just have this one export, but if I create more exports, it's going to trigger that zap over here, right? So we need to limit it so that this zap is only going to run when this export runs. So we have our export ID over here, export ID 48. So we're going to add a step in the middle. We're going to add a filter. So only continue if export ID, type that again, export ID exactly matches 48. And we'll continue. So new export file is created. Only continue if it's export ID 48, send outbound email. Lastly, let's give this a name, email, WooCommerce order export. That's the name of my Zap. Okay. So now over here, we'll publish this. Done, and it's on. Okay, so now let's go over here. Let's check out the settings that we have. We're going to set up this export so that it runs on a schedule and only exports orders once, right? So we'll select only export orders once, nothing to export. All the orders have already been exported. We'll solve that in a second. Go to automatic scheduling. We'll turn it on. So I've added my API key so you can see here that the connection to WP all export servers is stable and confirmed. So the way the scheduling service works is once we have this set up, our service is going to contact the site and make the export run. So we'll leave it like this. Every Monday at midnight, this export is going to run and it's going to export all of the orders that haven't been exported yet by this export. And when that happens, this is going to run. Okay, so what I'm going to do is save my export configuration. Now I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to create a WooCommerce order. All right, and the customer, we're going to go over here. We'll select one of these. And we'll just type it in, Meryl Sutliff. And Meryl's going to buy something. She's going to buy a shirt. Okay, looks good. And the status, we'll just put this completed and we'll create. And let's just add a second one. Why not? Let's see, do we have a John in here? There we go. Close enough. Carol St. John. Okay, John. John also likes shirts, so we'll give John a shirt. Can have this one. There you go. Merry Christmas, John. Here's your shirt. Status completed. Create. All right, so we got 2 orders in here. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to go back over here to manage exports. And, functionally, if when the schedule runs, it's just going to run the export. So we're going to kind of jump to the chase here and run the export. And this would behave just exactly as if it were a scheduled export. Okay, so this is going to run. Export complete. Now we'll go over here to my email. Go back to my inbox. There we go. Got our second email in here. This week we had 2 orders. File. We'll just save that as. We'll go over here. We'll open it up. There it is. There are the 2 orders that I just created, and we're good to go. So that is all it takes to export WooCommerce orders to email using WP All Export. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Again, check out our YouTube channel and our documentation. We have a lot more videos on exporting WooCommerce orders, pretty much everything you can think of. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.